Hello, welcome to my workshop. Right, for your delight and delectation, we're going to do a quick review of this, which is a quick change tool post. So, firstly, I have had it out of the box. I bought it from eBay, and they included a nice little card in there, and I'll put a link to the eBay sale. Cost me just under £100, 98 and some odd pennies. I've opened this, but how each individual bag came wrapped, and it was well wrapped, was like this with lots of cellophane around it, and then in a bag like this. So first things first, let's get it out. The listing on this particular one is slightly cheaper than another one I looked at, and it claimed to be hardened and ground. And well, if you look at that, that certainly looks ground. In fact, it looks lovely there. So I would go with that being accurate. As for hardened, can't 100% swear to it, but if I get this here, this is a scribe. I can't find my black scribe. I expect it's about somewhere. Oh no, there it is. Right. Just clean that off. So, here is a scribe. I see you can easily scratch that. If I turn this over and try and scratch that, I'm going to go scratch down there. You can see it leaves a mark. Actually, it does leave a mark. So it might well be a bit hard, but it's not that hard. But what I did manage to mark it with is tungsten. So but it certainly is ground. Now, if you're wondering how these things work, so what we have is you get a box of bits. Not sure what all the bits are for. You get an Allen key for tightening up the bits. You get this, which allows you to do this up. Okay, and what that does, see there, now it doesn't fit over this particularly well. I think that could do with a bit of fettling. But if you put that over there, you can see what it does is it just moves that in on the cam, and that will lock this in. So that is, if I unlock that, that then moves and it is removable. If I put it back on, then we don't want it down there. If I put it back on and do it up, then that's locked. And the way that works, just so you know what this thing looks inside, is I push that in. I can then pull this out. That is a bar there with just a scallop taken out of it. That one doesn't look particularly straight. And all that is a plunger with a hole in it. And that doesn't look desperately well machined, but it's okay. That plunger with a hole and a spring in it is what pulls it on. So I can then put that back in there. And then twist that down, and that's back together. Right, now this does come covered, all of these came covered with quite sticky oil, designed to keep it rust free in transit, which I don't object to. That looks like that's where the block has been hardened, so I think it probably has been. You can clean this stuff off. I wouldn't go over the top over it, because you do want to keep these things reasonably well oiled, and that's how it comes out. So what you get, quickly, let me just open all these up. Right, this is a 5-piece set. Forgot to mention, by the way, this is aimed at the ML7 Myford lathe. Okay, so criticisms are going to be this bottom bit could do with here could do with being quite a bit bigger, so that it supports the bottom of that a bit better, but never mind. Right, okay, so we get 5 holders. 2 are fundamentally the same for square tools, so you get 4 holders and that block, so they call it 5-piece set. That one there has a groove in the bottom, is designed for boring bars, and this one here is designed to take a parting blade, and this is the parting blade supplied. You'll note that it's ground like a parting blade, so it's thinner at the bottom than it is at the top, and in theory at least that should go in like that if that's loose enough. Let's just loosen that out. But I'm not convinced about the parting blade. The reason why I'm not convinced about the parting blade is it's got no top rake, but we're going to try it as it is. Let's just nip that up. Ooh. Then if I need to, I'll take it off and grind it. So let's go off and... So this is designed to fit the Myford, and on the Myford it's designed to take either 8mm or 10mm tools, particularly of the insert type. That's what that looks like tightened up. No, actually, I think that has got an angle on it, so that might well be the kiddie. Right. So, quick note on tools. Let me just take that off. Okay, so it will take in there. It will take a 12mm tool. That, however, will be too high on centre height. We'll also take a standard Myford tool. You have the same problem. On the other hand, a freehand ground tool that is low enough, that's a, I think that's a 5/16. It's almost high, yes it is a 5/16. That one will be below centre height, and I have just feathered that. And this one, that is a 3/16, and obviously that will work as well, assuming you can get it up high enough. So without further ado, let's show how you fit that to the Myford. We're going to check its centering and all the rest of it. Fitting it to the Myford takes no time at all, and then we're going to fire it up and do some metal cutting with it. Right. Let's fit this up, and then I'm going to run through just some tests. I'm not going to show you the whole of what I'm doing because I'm not going to show you changes between. So here is your typical actual Myford setup. I'm just going to take that off. I'm going to take this off. And then this is the typical Myford boat. I'm not going to be using that. So on a Myford you have that nut sticking out there. I forget exactly how that's fixed on, but we could take it off and have a look. We're not going to. We give that a clean. we're going to give the underside of this a little bit of a clean. And that's it, that just goes straight on there. Oops. And the nut goes on top. You do want to make sure these are nice and flat. Alright. Actually, before I do, isn't it? No, right, okay. Nice and tight for first off. Right, so on this I have settled a little edge on that. Which is the wrong way round, so I will go and settle that off camera in a sec when we get to it. So your typical tool bits, you'll see there's a little cutout down there, and that's so that there isn't a radius in that corner to interfere with how you fit a tool. And we're going to just go and start in a 10mm. Do that up. We'll tighten up when we're on here. Make sure that's nice and clean on the bottom and that there's no swarf in there. Right, hold on, let me just go to the right place. Okay. Now there are, in the bag, extra ones of these. I might need a pair of pliers for that. Oh no, that's loose. So you can sometimes lock that down. Right, so we're just going to use that to check centre height. And we can just check. That is in fact. Let's go for what else. Slightly below centre height. Now that's slightly above. And that's pretty much down on the bottom. There we go, that's the centre height. I'm just going to do that right way down. If you don't like, and then you can just simply change tools for other tools. I will be using the boring bar later. So I am just going to go and get that, and this is a boring bar holder which has got a little round thing if you're actually using a completely round boring bar. And so just quickly go through and set that at centre height as well. Boring bar is the only tool you can get away with having over centre height. But what you don't want is you don't want a boring bar under centre height. Check see where that one is. That's still too floppy. Right, okay. Right, now I'm going to go and put the jack back on, and I'll be back in a sec. Right, firstly, yes, let's just go and pop that little bit off there. Actually, I'm going to do that now. Blade's been ground, re-ground to more sensible. It's already a centre height, or it should be. So let's see how that blade gets on. It gets on quite well with aluminium, but we're just going to try it in this nasty steel. Other thing we're going to do, just double check we are flat, because we're not. Okay, that doesn't look flat. Oh, that's okay. I'm not convinced that's on centre height. Let me just go and check that. It also does seem to be adjusting in. And that's low, right. That seems to work, so that's the right. Facing operation next. Finish that cut. Shallower cut. So the, I mean, it's not actually a review of the Banggood tools I'm using here, but that seems to work reasonably nicely. It's just a bit of aluminium, which I've turned before. We're just going to face that off, and then I'm going to go and bore a hole through it, so you get to see the boring bar. Just move you out of the way. Right, let's see how this boring bar holder gets on. There it is. So there it is. I think that tool holder does quite a nice job. It does make things nice and quick and easy to change. Those are a little bit fiddly. Not that fond of those, but they work. So, provided you know that. The Myford is a good lathe, but that's got a 1/3 horsepower motor, so it can struggle a bit on mean stuff, and that is mean stuff. That parts very easily in the bad boy over my Atlas, but that's got a 1/2 horsepower motor, and it's quite a much bigger lathe. That, when you've got it ground right for the material you're working in, works reasonably well. So that's good. Boring bar holder, it works. All the other tool holders work. Only thing is these spare tool holders can cost you 20 or 30 quid. So that's a little bit of a downer, because I could do with several more of those. I might think about making some. For the moment though, thank you for watching. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and constructive comments welcome.